Good day, viewers and listeners. Welcome to Central Focus. I am Suleiman Haruna Osikoyi. Today, we are discussing the financial inclusion and then taking into cognizance the central, which is called North Central. Joining me, our distinguished guest, Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, a respected financial expert, a banker,
A former banker.
a former banker. Thank you. We'll be discussing the inclusion, the financial inclusion, as it affects the North Central, and how can we navigate around the issue of finances, finance, and funds itself. How can it be made accessible to the region? Thank you, Dr. or Alhaji Ibrahim Idris.
It's better you call me like Ibrahim Idris. I don't have a doctorate degree yet.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Like today, we said where to learn or take advantage of your experiences
Yeah.
and experts in the issue of finances. What can you maybe tell the audience the financial inclusion and the economic growth, taking into cognizance the North Central?
Thank you very much. Talking about financial inclusion, one very clear, truth is that fintech has deepened the financial inclusion of everybody in this country, not even North Central alone. No matter your literacy level, it is easy as far as you can operate a phone for you to be involved financially anywhere you are in the country. Before now, before you can access, funds, you will have to go physically to the bank or make any financial transaction. But from the comfort of your, sitting room or your bedroom, anywhere you are in the country. But specifically, we are talking about North Central now. You can sit down anywhere and transact business, make transfers, make payments, and all the rest. The advent of, point of sale, what we call POS, has also made it easier for you to access, funds physically. So for me, what the little hit we have is we need to, educate our citizens in the North Central on how to go about, using this infrastructure, if you call it that way, like what do you call it? Point of sale, that's POS, and the rest.
So thank you very much, Alhaji Idris. Also, it will take us to this question: how can the banks makes it easier, especially in the area of agricultural financing?
Well, that's a very good question. The reason being that largely citizens from the North Central are largely agrarian communities. We, we survive more in agriculture than so that's why it is imperative that you know financial institutions should come in to assist our farmers. But however, we have challenges, and that is security challenges. That is why most banks will be shying away from putting their funds into agriculture. The situation in the country now is such that farmers can't even go to the farm because of security. So that way, banks will not find it, easy to take such risks when they know that there are a lot of
funds.
exactly security challenges. So, but however, we can leverage on partnering with cooperative communities in the area and see how we can come out to fund agriculture, maybe on uh, crop by crop basis through this cooperative associations. That way the banks are sure that their funds will be safe because they are not dealing with individuals, they are dealing with cooperative agri cooperative societies. So that way the banks can come out to fund to assist in protecting the agri in the
Which
region.
at the end of the day, it will invariably improve in the area of unemployment.
Oh, sure, sure. Most of our young adults, graduates, are roaming the streets without work. With agribusiness, if the banks are willing to, partner with government, the government must have to come in the area of unemployment.
Yeah.
Because the banks cannot just go out there to start funding unemployed graduates. How the government can come in is, by creating environment and avenue for unemployed graduates to come together to form agri cooperative societies. Through that way, the banks can, come in to assist by, funding this unemployed, youths by giving them startups in form of, loans in form of startups, which will be guaranteed by the government.
Okay, that way we makes the accessibility to funds easier.
Easier, exactly, exactly.
That is, government should be to create a lead way so that the unemployment, the unemployed youth can also access funds as easy as possible.
Yes.
How? Like you said, sometimes it's so difficult for the youth to access these funds. But they were so much interested in going into agriculture.
Yes.
But however, it has always been a problem. How do you think can be other ways that can be designed, or a platform that can be designed so that it will be easier for people to access funds?
Well, as a banker,
Yes.
the banker is always wary of the safety of its funds when it is, advancing loans. So that way, there are a lot of considerations before you give out loan. And we all know that these young graduates, most at times do not have these requirements. So that's why I mentioned the government. If the government can create, an avenue by asking, these, unemployed graduates to form cooperative societies in form of SMEs, registered SMEs. Through that way, the government can guarantee them.
Okay. That will actually solve the challenges that people normally maybe observe, or that makes it difficult. That is, if the government now partake or involved in the activities, it will ease the accessibility.
Exactly, that's where I'm going. The involvement of government will cushion the risk the banks will be afraid of. Before, I mean, as a banker, you don't just give out funds. There must be certain conditions that someone looking for credit must meet before you avail him that credit. And like I said earlier, these young graduates may not have all this, may not be able to meet this criteria. But if the government can come in to create an avenue, like I said earlier, by asking them to form cooperative societies and register these societies as SMEs, the government should be ready to, stand as a guarantor for this, young graduates. And I can bet you the sky will be the limit We have very intelligent, young men and women in the country that are willing to even go into agriculture, do agribusiness. You know, agriculture is a complete chain of business now. We all know. If we're not talking about those ones, where you just go to till the ground. Agric involves a lot of process, and each of them can register their SMEs based on particular
Product.
agric process that they want to be involved in. Like I said, the government can guarantee them by even placing some funds with the banks.
Okay, so from my understanding now, is it only for um, the government alone, or what is the extent of the bank's involvement in this? That is creating an awareness. Is the bank or is the banking institution really doing enough?
Well, you know that there are actually specialized banks. Like we have the Bank of Agriculture in Nigeria. I'm sure you are aware of that.
Yes.
And we have the Bank of Industry. These are banks that can be approached to fund these agri businesses. For the ordinary commercial bank, even though they have their agri departments, but in most cases they are always very skeptical in
Giving
they are
loans.
giving loans. I must tell you, for obvious reasons, because of the failure of being able to
To repay back the payment period and all that.
exactly. So that has discouraged most of the commercial banks to give a great loan. But however, if you have an established farm
Okay.
and you can secure the loan that you are asking from any commercial bank, I am sure they will be willing to do business with you. I'll give you a good example. I have a friend who has a farm in Osarangada in Atavi local government. If you will be marveled if you get to his farm, he has all sections from crop production to milling to poultry to fishery in one location and highly equipped. So a farmer like that should be find it very easy to access
Says
loan.
funds.
Yes,
Okay.
from the bank
Okay.
because he has what it takes.
Okay. What about the rural area or the people that were actually living in the rural area?
Yes.
What is the involvement of this financial institution in making sure that they brings them to board so that they too can be of benefit or benefit for such funds?
Well, the only way that would be possible is that rural farmers will find it difficult accessing loans from the bank. What I will advise them to do is to form cooperative groups. Excuse me.
So,
Form cooperative groups. That way, it is that cooperative group that will, now approach the bank for loan for its members. That
okay.
will,
Yeah. But however, looking at the situation, how can the people at that level
yes.
be a kind of getting the sensitization on how can they assess this financial institution that belongs to the government? There should be a sensitization. Whose
I
responsibility?
well, I agree with you. That is where the failure of government of the day comes in. We know in the rural communities, most of them are not literate. They can hardly speak
Right.
English
Yeah.
or communicate in English. So my advice is for the government to seriously, begin to,
Things means.
sorry, I'm for the want of the, I'm looking for the right word to use,
Okay.
to disseminate information through the languages which the citizens, the community understands. We have local radios around. We have local FM stations around. They can use the language, of the community to sensitize them on how to, access funds, how to get funds to, input into their farming activities.
Okay, that is, that will be the best area for an improvement, so that the people at the rural area can actually benefit, because they were the they dominate when it comes to agriculture. But however, accessing funds has become a challenge for them to actually improve on their produce.
Yes.
Now, is there any other channel that the government or the banks itself, which is a financial institution that belongs to the government, can, okay, you have said one, can still there be any channel that these people, it can be easier for them to access funds, because it has been a challenge over time?
Yes. And then you see, we can also use models like crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, where people come together to crowdfund the projects. So local farmers, but they would have to be educated on what it is to crowdfund it, because most of them are not literate. You understand? That's
In
another.
partnership, is the civil society doing enough to actually elevate this?
Well, I do not.
As a financial expert who has actually dealt with the public in the past, is the civil society
No, they are
doing
not.
enough?
They are not. They are not doing enough. I must tell you. You see, whether we want like it or not, agriculture is the mainstay of this country. It's just unfortunate that the requisite attention is not being, given to it. Otherwise, we won't be where we are today. So, as my advice to the civil society is that they should, try to create programs in which they will use to sensitize, educate the populace on agriculture and how to, finance agriculture. I bet you, if we give the requisite attention to agriculture in this country, we don't have business being where we are today. But again, a very serious challenge that we must take care of is that of security. Most of our farmers can't go to farm now because of security challenges, especially in the North Central.
Are there any program within the institution of government, especially taking into cognizance the North Central?
Yes.
Are there any programs? Because if you look at, we have the Northeast Development Commission, we have the Northwest Development Commission.
We have the North Central.
Are they doing, what are the limitations? Their limitation in this aspect, that is considering the issue of insecurity? Are there any cooperation between the states that bears the North Central?
Well, the issue of security is something too large for us to,
to manage,
to talk about here. We all know what we're going through. The government has to wake up, honestly. The government has to take the bull by the horn as far as security is concerned. Otherwise,
doesn't mean the states were not doing what they should do, because we learned that the state too is the chief security, or each governor of the state is the chief security of the state. However, are they doing enough?
Yes, that's what it is. That is what it is.
Because that should have, to some extent, assist in combating the insecurity, especially within the North Central.
That is what it is. But that is what it is. The governor is said to be the chief security of the state. But in truth, in practice, the governor can hardly give the commissioner of police instruction, and he takes that instruction as the chief security officer of the state. The commissioner will tell you that he will have to take, he will have to hear from the inspector general of police first. So what I think we should do is that I think there should be a constitutional, amendment
that will give powers to the states to actually.
And again, I am one of the advocates of creating state police.
But some school of thought believe it to be abused.
Well, there's nothing that has an advantage that does not have a disadvantage. But for me, the advantage of creating a state police will far more outweigh the disadvantage. But look at what we have. Look at the population of the country, for instance, and look at the number of policemen we have. They are definitely not enough to take care of the population of this country. Recently, the new Minister of Defense has asked that all the military men on roadblocks will be withdrawn. And you know what happened of recent? There's a rise in kidnapping. Where I live, on my street, one of the residents was traveling to Delta State. He was kidnapped in Kogi State there.
That is, the withdrawal now have a negative effect.
Yeah, because military, sincerely, if you see military on the road, to a very large extent, it scares this kidnapper, these bandits, more than having policemen there. I think we still need them on the road.
But
For now,
some people are saying the activities are more needed within not within the territorial, but outside they should protect the sovereignty of the country, while that of the internal security should be handled by the police officers.
I agree with you completely. But
Because of the situation.
But the situation on the ground demands that we should have them there. For crying out loud. But like we are talking basically about the development of North Central.
Exactly.
So let us not deviate to different.
Thank
You see, for me, if our leaders in the North Central get their acts right and focus on agriculture, the North Central will be.
Because it has enough resources that can solve some of the issues of unemployment and
exactly.
other things.
If we focus on agriculture, I bet you will be the pride of all other regions in the country. The governor of United States, the former governor, we call him Umar Mohammed Bago, His Excellency, is doing very well in terms of agriculture. But unfortunately, the security challenge in the state is one of the worst around the North Central.
Okay, is it the former or the
current
governor?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the security challenge in the state is much more amongst all the states in North Central, and it's hindering the progress he's making.
He's taking a lead. That is, he's taking a lead in that area.
Of course, he's doing very well in agri.
I believe that should also give a kind of insight to other governors in the states.
Yes. We should also be kind in saying that our own governor, my state governor, His Excellency Usman Odudu, is doing very well too. But he needs to, do more. He needs to do more.
To some extent, what is the level of your own observation since being your states? That is the issue of agriculture, financing.
Yeah, yes. I remember vividly. I was a witness to during the planting season. They brought a lot of inputs which they shared to farmers. I was there. This is not hearsay. I was in Osara. Like I was telling you of my friend's farm. I was there. So he
sort of encouragement.
They distributed inputs like fertilizers and other farming tools to these local farmers. That I can say.
What is the level of participation, especially from the youths?
In fact, you can hardly see an old man in the farm now. As I am telling you, both male and female youths were the ones that were present when these things were being distributed. They all have farms there. And I am encouraging His Excellency to please to do more, because it will reduce the level of crime.
That is, the North Central can actually make their position if they commit the resources into agriculture.
Exactly.
The food security will be resolved.
Exactly.
Will be solved.
Exactly. But having in mind too that the security challenge is taken care of, because nobody will want to go and endanger his life in the farm when you know that if you go there, you can be easily kidnapped. That is the truth.
Thank you, Alhaji Ibrahim Idris. On your final note, What is your advice to the middle belt, especially in the area of agriculture and finance?
Yes. I want to, end this discussion by advising that our governors in the Middle Belt should take advantage of the God-given, land, agric land, because we have more than enough land for agriculture. But land, water, take advantage of it, invest more in agriculture, provide funds to develop agricultural businesses in the state, in the region. That way, we will not only be creating employment for our unemployed youths, we will be reducing, the rate of crime. Because they say an idle hand is the devil's, workshop.
What?
When you have kids that do not have job, they begin to think of, doing things that are evil. So if we can expand agribusiness in the North Central, it will go a long way in taking care of unemployment and reducing crime in the area.
Thank you so much, Alhaji Ibrahim Idris. My audience and my viewers at home, thank you so much. We really heard from our guest for today's program, which is North Central Focus. The issue is all about developing the agricultural sector in the North Central. However, the government too need to partake in resolving this issue, both the insecurity and that will give way to develop the agricultural sector in the region. Thank you so much. Until next time, when we'll bring you another interesting program, I remain your sincere Suleiman Haruna, your uncle. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Uh,